Having trouble with my connectivity this morning. Live out in the country for a while longer. We'll talk about that. Sharon Horne-Ellstrom here, also known as Pajama Grandma. Today is day 529 of documenting my journey of transitioning from the brick and mortar world, the offline world of corporate America for over a quarter century, and then entrepreneurship, different business ownership in I think I figured 27 different businesses and industries over my career because I'm old and I've had a lot of years to practice things and experiment with things. And transitioning from that to the online world of business. And I'm in the process of physically moving my location for a couple of reasons I'll discuss in a minute. Number one, it's really fun it's a pain in the butt. I'm not even going to pretend I hate moving. I absolutely hate moving. And part of it is because I'm a total pack rat, right? I'm a saver. I save silly things, stupid things. I used to collect teddy bears, not so much anymore. I used to collect bottle caps for projects for my daughter in Girl Scouts. Now my daughter's 25. I'm going to have a baby, by the way. But I still collect bottle caps for no reason because she's long since been a Girl Scout. But I still collect them. I don't know what I'm going to do with them, but they're going to probably go in a dumpster pretty quick here. My point is, as I'm going through and looking at things, I realized that I actually went to my first online conference, marketing conference. It was a Jim Edwards conference in 2007. So I've actually been dabbling at this stuff for a long time, and I've been interested in it for a long time, but I didn't have the opportunity, or I didn't give myself permission to actually do it until, 530 days or so ago, and probably a little sooner than that. But when I finally gave myself permission, that's when I started to explore and figure out, well, what could I do in this online world? What could I do in this space? And I think as soon as I beat myself up because I'm like, well, why am I not a billionaire yet? Well, it's because of me, because I haven't grown and reached the development of believing in myself enough to have the success that I wanted to have online. And I basically just want to duplicate my offline business success online. That's my overriding goal and objective. And of course, there's numeric values associated with that because I'm all about the goal setting. My dad brainwashed my sisters and I into knowing that goal setting is important. We have to know where we're going and what we're reaching toward in order to get there. You can hop in the car and you can drive and just start driving and you'll end up somewhere. But is that really where you want to end up? Is that really where you want to go? So I get that, setting goals is important. But it's really fun finding some of the stuff that me as the pack rat has saved over the years and remembering, oh my gosh, I have been thinking this for a long time. I have been doing this for a long time. I have been feeling this for a long time. So maybe I should act on it. And other things, maybe not. Maybe I shouldn't act on them. So physical changes is what I called this one. And that's because, and I wasn't going to talk about it, but physical changes. There's a whole lot of stuff going on with me, not in my online world, but in my actual physical world. I'm having a new challenge, but it's not a new challenge. It's an old challenge. I was in my, 21. I was just 21 when I first started having vision problems and vision challenges. And by the time I was 20, I want to say 20, well, probably before then, but by 24, 25, I had lost the vision in my left eye totally and had challenges with both my eyes over the decades. But about 2 years ago, I had a big inflammation challenge. And well, in 2010, I had a sudden cardiac arrest, and that triggered my right eye acting up. And then it's deteriorated since to the point that now I'm legally blind. And being legally blind has its own whole set of challenges that for an independent person who tries to do everything herself, you get to the point where it's like, yes, I may need some help with some of these physical things from now on. And part of that is changing my environment, changing my physical location, because the home I raised my family in and am still in for a while, it's too cumbersome and too big for me to actually be able to do everything on my own anymore. And, could I get help in here and do something? Yeah. Do I want to? Absolutely not. This was a great home to raise my family in, but it's time for me to have my own space and a space that's more navigable for me as my vision continues to challenge me. Now, don't get me wrong. I still get shit done, but I'm sure it's taking me longer and longer than it would take anybody else. I mean, when you have to do absolutely everything with a magnifying glass, it takes longer to get things done. So I'm going to have to sack up, or whatever they call it, put on my big girl panties and start to get some help in certain areas. Help with, anything to do with editing videos, anything to do with editing text or writing or communicating, which I hate because I want to do those things myself. I want to do them myself. I like to do them myself. So I'm exploring different technologies and things that will help with that. A lot of speaking things and voiceover, IP type things, reading technology so that it can read screens and things for me. I mean, right now I have a 62-inch television that I run my computer through, and that's how I'm actually able to function and still get things done. But again, it's slow. It's slow for me to do things. And so I need to do the things that I need to do and then delegate and continue to let people help and do other things that just aren't, that I don't have to do. I don't have to be the one that shares every video. I don't have to be the one that edits anything. Obviously, you notice that since I've come online, I haven't edited anything. It's not because I don't want to learn. That's a lie. I don't want to learn how to edit or do anything. I don't want to do that stuff. But it's also because physically the challenge of doing it and learning it and figuring it out, it's more than I want to do right now. And because I know it's not my area of expertise. It's not an area that I want to really get good at. So in the next very little while, you will see that I have some help coming on board and helping me just to do things online that are taking me too long and are a big challenge. Now, this is a huge thing for me to admit that I can't, because I hate the word can't, because I do figure it out and I do get it done. But I notice it's taking me longer and longer. If it's taking me longer and longer, then I tend to get frustrated. And if I get frustrated, I feel worse. And if I feel worse, I can see even less. So I have to make sure that I'm guarding against anything that would trigger or cause me to feel worse or have more physical challenges. I've had chronic pain and weird chronic illnesses and mystery illnesses pretty much my whole life. I was sick as a kid. I had a lot of, which is my voice, I have a lot of gravel, gurdy, and tonsillitis all the time. I was one of those kids that loved the flavor of pink penicillin, only because I had to find a way to like it, because I was always taking it. Every couple of months, I had tonsillitis or laryngitis or some kind of infection. I used to get lots of infections in my toes and fingers and things. I would get a cut. Most kids would get a little cut or stub their toe. I would get a full-fledged infection. And so it was just stuff like that. But I never really let it get to me. And then in my 20s, I had a really bad bout with, they never did figure out what it was, but it's all inflammation, systemic, who knows what related challenges and illnesses with my eyes. That's when my eyes started, and my kidneys, and my systemically I had arthritis, like, all my joints. And I blocked it out and don't hardly remember it. My family laughs at me because I tell them I don't have any health challenges, and they just laugh because I guess I've had a lot. But I just keep moving and don't pay attention to them, because otherwise you'd never get anything done. So physical changes in terms of physical location, things that I'm going to be physically doing and not doing and choosing to let other people help me with are going to change, but it shouldn't really affect what I'm doing now or what I'm doing with other people and coaching and consulting and helping. And I think part of why I never talk about it is because I have this fear, and maybe it's an irrational fear, or maybe it's a rational fear of who is going to want to listen to somebody, especially, and part of why I always kept my vision challenges hidden throughout my corporate career, especially, and then with my own businesses, it didn't really matter that much because I did things that made life work and my businesses work for me. But in corporate America, and part of why I don't talk about it online is I have this fear that if I can't see as well as everybody else, then people will not listen to me. Now, this is a woman that shows up in her pajamas every day, and that doesn't seem to faze me. So why would I be afraid of people knowing that I have challenges with my vision? Lots of people have challenges with their vision, right? I don't even know what the percent of the population is that has that wears glasses or contacts or has had LASIK surgery or something, but I gotta believe it's a pretty high percent of the overall population. And there's, hundreds of millions of blind people on the planet, so it's not like that's unusual. And I'm not 100% blind, but I am legally blind, and yeah, I can't see for shit. That's what my family says, and it's true. You know that you've got trouble when you have OT lights, and if you know what an OT light is, it's like a magnified, really well lit source. If you have OT lights and magnifying glasses everywhere, I pretty much always have one in my purse, one in my pocket, one in every room of the house. And that's part of why I wanted to change too, because I don't need to try to be keeping up with a big house. It's just me. So why do I need a giant house? I don't. And a huge oversized 3-car garage when I don't even have a car, and I don't drive. So I haven't driven for I think 2 years now. So it's been a long time, which is also a pain, but thank goodness for Uber and Lyft, because if this was 10 years ago, I would be having a hard time getting around. But with technology and the online world and the changes that have come about, it still makes it pretty easy to function and do what I've always done and not really miss a beat. I would contend that most of my coaching students and clients and consulting clients have no idea that I've ever had any chronic pain or even vision issues or vision challenges. I think one of my coaching students I've told, but otherwise that's about it. And that's because he always wants me to help him with all of his detailed computer work and graphics and things, and headlines and little teeny fonts and text and stuff, which is fine. I can do that for a little bit, but it's really, really straining. It gives me migraines. So I don't like to do that stuff anymore. And I'm moving away from doing those things. I can do an overview and a critique, but am I going to critique every word of everything? No, totally not. That's what editors are for. And that's what, the grammar police is for. They can go ahead and do that. It's really interesting how we change and how we grow as we have physical changes and limitations and different things that happen to us. I used to be one of those people that couldn't stand when people used the wrong grammar and incorrect grammar. And mostly, let's be honest, it was because I hated it when I made a mistake. I hated it when I spelled something wrong or used the wrong word. And that stems from being a little kid. And I remember when I was a little kid, I could not spell at all. I spelled things different every time I wrote them. My mom jokes that I wrote a story in like 3rd grade with a story about a princess. And I spelled princess wrong like 8 or 9 times on the first page of this story. So who knew you could even make up 8 or 9 different ways to spell princess? But apparently I found a way to do that. Heck, my mom's probably got that story somewhere and she'll show me someday. So it always irritated me when I would make a spelling error, or when or spell check or something would autocorrect, and it would make a mistake. I always hated that, and I'd always be the one to point it out to people. And I realized, oh, I'm only pointing that out because I don't like it when I do it. So then I stopped doing it because I started looking for the message. What is the message that somebody's trying to convey? Not, did they spell it 100% right? Did they have a typo? And I think it was part of because I needed to cut myself more slack, especially with texting and things. As my vision was failing, I would text like gibberish to my kids, and it became like those word puzzles where they'd have to try to figure out what I was texting them. I blame my chubby thumbs, but really it was my bad eyes. So chubby thumbs and bad eyes, it's not necessarily a great combination. I believe they should make one of those, you know how they make giant TVs now? They should make like a giant keypad so that we could use it and see it and do it. Now, fortunately for me, when I was younger, I did a lot of keyboarding, a lot of texting, and a lot of data entry because I was in statistics. And so as far as those skills and things go, I'm really good at just feeling and knowing where the letters are. Now, if I get my hands on, I need somebody to fix it for me. I'm thinking about learning Braille, but I don't know if I want to. We'll see. I'll have to decide. I think the technology has changed to the point where I might be able to skip Braille and just use vision technology and voice over the internet protocol. I might be able to just use VoIP and vision technology because they've got these new cameras and they've got these new glasses you can wear that have little cameras aside of them, and they'll read whatever you see in front of you, which is kind of awesome, right? It's kind of cool that that's possible. And then, of course, my ex-mother-in-law is always telling me about things like you can get chicken eyes implanted. Now, I think since I have a systemic thing that a chicken eye implant would probably just infiltrate that organ as well and maybe cause a problem. But it's something to explore in the future because, I might come to you with these buggy chicken eyes someday. Then I could really make fun of my eyes and my nose, right? So that's what's going on. Physical changes and things. Today is day, you'd have to look, 69, I believe. Yep, day 69 of the 90-day Influencer Live Video Challenge on YouTube that the sexy boss Heather Ann Haberwood and I are doing together. I've done kind of a structured format with that. So today we're talking about the sideways presentation, phase 4 of it, which is all about external factors that impact us. So things, usually resource related things, time, money. For me, I'm dealing with people with chronic illness and chronic pain, and maybe blindness. It's external things are not what's within us, but energy is a big one. And that ties into time. And it's interesting when you are sick or ill, and most of us have been sick sometime or other, it shuts down and stops absolutely everything. The same is true of pain. If you have, we all know that if you've got a migraine or a headache or pain, or if you break your foot, or if you're in an accident, boom, the world just stops, everything stops, and you have to deal with your health. Your health becomes your number one issue. And people that are in chronic pain are always in that, or not all, I have a different take on this, but are in that such a large amount of time that it overrides everything. And there are strategies and ways that I've learned to cope with and deal with that. And it's something that I teach my coaching students, that there are ways, and it's entirely possible, even if you think it's not possible. So dealing with that. But today, external factors are energy. Energy is a biggie because we have lots of time, but we don't have the energy or the wherewithal to break through the pain in order to access the time that we have, right? In order to, what I'm teaching people to do is to make money in this particular challenge. So doing today's challenge is all about the external factors, the new story, and what our life's like now that we broke through and we accepted the challenge and we didn't let the external factor affect us, or here's the thing we're offering tomorrow to alleviate and make sure that this external factor isn't even an issue for you anymore. So the 90-day challenge is in full swing. And of course, my beautiful granddaughter will be here soon. And I am in massive move and packing mode. Tons of stuff to charity, tons of stuff to storage, tons of stuff to a new location, a new temporary location. Because I don't know, I really haven't decided what I want my next living step to be. I haven't decided where I want to live. I need to plant my flag and plant my home. I'm not sure what I want it to be and where I want it to be. Because I'm here in Wisconsin still, and I gotta tell you, the winters are brutal. And especially in somebody that has arthritis and systemic things, winters are brutal. And so I asked myself, why am I still living here? I've got a new grandbaby on the way, so I know I'll be here for a while. Anyway, temporary. Everything's temporary, right? Everything is temporary. So that's it. That's what's going on with me on day 529 of this interesting journey of documentation. Sort of a more personal one today. I hope that's okay. And I hope that you have an absolutely amazing, awesome day, because it's Monday and Mondays are always awesome. So if you're not feeling awesome, one of my biggest tricks that they love to teach my kids, and I do myself, is if I'm not feeling awesome, every Monday for sure, and usually every day, I say, I feel awesome. And even if you're feeling crappy and terrible, it's a little trick that will trigger you. Even if you just laugh at yourself because you're saying, I feel awesome when you're feeling miserable, it moves you in the direction of feeling better. And that's what we always want to do. We just want to feel better. Go out, make it an awesome day. And of course, I'll be with you tomorrow. Bye. Take care.